They say it's really lonely at the top. Do you agree or not?
What did I have to lose? At that point of time, if I fail, I'm still at zero.
Entrepreneurship has been glamorized like anything, media ma. Like, oh, we all want to keep founder / CEO, LinkedIn bio ma, Instagram bio ma.
Entrepreneur breed is flawed in the sense that they think no end of themselves.
Entrepreneurs are, so they're like, I'm delusional enough to make things happen and bend the reality so that like it works for it.
You are amongst the few chosen ones who probably got there, right?
Yeah. So business is one part of the story, but what matters also is the people that you work with, right?
We are dangerous people. We can overwhelm people. We can cause a lot of anxiety.
With what? So bank ले loan दिन अगाडि यही proof of concept नै gauge गर्छ.
Bankले proof of concept मा loan दिँदैन.
Let's get right into it, shall we? Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Rato Rupaiya, the podcast. This is Riya Shrestha, your host. As you know, this is your favorite podcast that revolves around business, people and money. And on this podcast episode, we had Mr. Anand Bagaria, who is the managing director of Nimbus. Oh my god, you guys, this episode was something else. उहाँले एकदम स्पेसिफिकली भन्नुभएको थियो कुनै पनि क्लिशे क्वेसन्सहरू नसोध्नु भनेर. So I curated it in a way that was very unique. It was filled with insights, not just related to the growth and the success of his ventures, but also the challenges, the pitfalls that every entrepreneur has to face. So I think you as a business enthusiast or a founder or someone who aspires to be an entrepreneur, you are going to love this episode. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Hangry Jen, who is sponsoring this episode. Hangry Jen, जुन एउटा personal frustration बाट start भएको थियो, has now evolved into an operation serving 1,500 to 2,000 customers every month. Built on speed, consistency, and customer experience, Hangry Jen is solving real gaps in Nepal's food delivery ecosystem. Perfect fuel for business enthusiasts and founders like you while listening to this episode. So I just want to start with the first time that we were scheduled to meet, when the whole Shark Tank collaboration was happening. I was told that, okay, like 5 Shark सँग video हुन्छ भनेर, and I was like, okay, fine. And I had already met Cabinet sir and Saurav sir also, so I was like, I know their vibe, right? But the two people that I was most scared to meet, can you guess? 2 people.
Ritu?
Yeah, of course.
And must be me.
Yeah. I was like, okay, हुन्छ नि मैले कसरी vibe check. I looked तपाईँको इन्टरभ्यूमा and I was like, okay, अलिकति intimidated.
Why intimidated?
No, I don't know. I mean, you meet someone for the first time, you don't know how they're going to be like, especially someone in your position. You always have like the guard up neither. But when I showed up, everything, one moment I was scared. The other moment we were having, like after the shoot, we were having sekwa in your office. So that was so amazing. And fast forward to today, I'm so glad that you're here.
Likewise.
Okay. When I approached you, you said something about not wanting anything cliche. So I did my fair share of research to make sure that we're not repeating the same things. Obviously, like I said, तपाईँको journey bhayeपछि few things are going to repeat. But I'll try to make sure that it's fun, it's insightful, and it's engaging for the audience to watch, because your whole podcast ko theme ne is business, people, money. So we want to make sure that whoever is watching can take away a lot of lessons from this podcast. Okay. So I have a few numbers for you. 13 अर्बको business, 800 employee, 35,000 plus farmers. You numbers are सुन्दा तपाईलाई personally कस्तो लाग्छ? Because these are the numbers of your business.
These numbers are old, first.
All right.
2, कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि there's a lot of sense of responsibility towards that, you know. When you do a business of this size, there's a lot of borrowings, there's a lot of people involved and their families involved and so on and so forth. So it's not like, you know, it's not like I can change my mind now. You know? So I think that it's more of a sense of responsibility, and then there is a lot of hard work behind it, and that does not only to reach there but to keep that there, keep that going. So and hard work sanga innovation and learning and unlearning that we call about. So in this changing perspective, global perspective ma herne ho bhane sometimes I feel overwhelmed, and sometimes I feel a little bogged down at times. But then at the end of it, what gives you the energy is that you are amongst the few chosen ones who probably got there, right?
Yeah.
So thank God for that.
They say it's really lonely at the top, Parera. Do you agree or not?
It is. At times it is. And, you know, when... because what everybody gets to see is the good side of it, the happy side of it, the numbers you talked about. But the pitfalls that you have to go through, and sometimes, you know, you have to put up a face. Because you are leading the show, you have to put up a face where you got to keep the energy high, you got to keep the morale high, while inside your stomach is churning, right? So it is sometimes, not all the time.
Okay, what are the updated numbers, if I may ask?
Let's keep it a secret.
Okay. No worries.
No,
any numbers related, maybe farmers or employees? Has that changed at all?
No. What has changed is the number of products, the number of, the way we do business, the way we monitor business, and of course, inflation also helps you grow your top line. So top line is irrelevant, I personally feel. It is the impact that you make is important. And at the end of it, when it's a business, it's also the bottom line.
So that's so interesting, I know that a lot of people, especially our generation, and right now, 2026, I see... It's been a while. It's been a decade or something. Entrepreneurship has been glamorized like anything, media ma. Like, oh, we all wanna keep founder / CEO. I'm LinkedIn bio ma, Instagram bio ma. That seems so cool, and a lot of people get into it. Maybe not just for that, for other reasons also. So when you started, that was 1995.
Correct.
Okay.
My first, when I finished college and I got to work. Yeah.
So right now, when you say you want to start a business, like business start gonna like founder, so त्यति बेला चाहिँ that was like 3 decades ago. म business start गर्छु भन्दाखेरि मान्छेहरुको के reaction हुन्थ्यो?
I think the reaction was the same.
Okay.
You know, आटै गरे रहेछ भने जस्तो हुने. The surroundings were different.
Okay.
The availability to information and the availability to resources were a little more scarce. And I wouldn't say scarce. Information, yes, scarce. But resources, monetary and other resources may not have been scarce, but the modality was different. So right now you talk about venture capital, angel investor, and so on and so forth. And banking has eased out quite a bit. पहिला के हुन्थ्यो भने you need to prove yourself. Here right now I call myself a founder first and then I prove myself later. But back in the days you had to prove yourself first to even approach the banks or anybody else, right? I mean, and prove yourself more than the business model. Prove yourself to be trustworthy. You know, you mean business. So त्यो गर्दाखेरि it was, I would say it was fun. You know, so when you choose to be an entrepreneur, you make a choice, right? Any entrepreneur you would ask, he would say, I chose to become an entrepreneur. Some people become an entrepreneur after, you know, about 10 years, 15 years of their career, and some people start out fresh, and some people are from business families, some are not from business family, but it is a choice that you make. It's like having coffee, right? I mean, coffee is not a natural taste. You acquire it. And once you want to become an entrepreneur, you make a decision, and the decision is not the sexy entrepreneur. The decision is, I'll go all in, so in terms of timing, effort, good, bad, and the ugly. And of course, the eventual goal is always good, but the struggle is something which is not highlighted.
The struggle, right? I have a very personal opinion. I think I've been dying to ask this because this is something that I struggle with. Okay? So, when you're brought up in a non-business family, I know, like mostly job holders, nobody has taken that leap of faith and started something neither. And especially when you have seen certain circumstances, your view, your idea about money is so different. Okay? The risk appetite is also so different. I mean, I see myself like I have courage to maybe go beyond धेरै कुरामा, but when it comes to money, I feel like this sometimes. I don't have the appetite for risk. So when it comes to you, what did you see बच्चा बेलामा, or how was your mindset about risk taking like?
See, it's a very tricky question. I mean, now when you look at it, I think I am more averse to risk now than I was then. What happens is, your 100% is the maximum risk you take, right? I mean, the 100% size keeps changing. Percentage is always relative. So when I started in 95, my 100% was probably much smaller. It was much, much, much smaller than it is now. So, त्यो बेलाको risk, and what did I have to lose? कस्तो थियो भने, at that point of time, if I fail, I'm still at zero. आजको दिनमा if I fail, I'm not at zero. I'll go, if my zero is here today, if I fail, I go down. And so the risk-taking attitude and the risk-taking ability changes with time, age, and all of that. I see a lot of my friends who I admired as entrepreneurs maybe a decade or two back. I find them so businessmen-like now, say they are more of managing their businesses rather than creating new businesses. So each one to their own, but risk-taking appetite is again matter of individual choice and circumstances both. Mero lagi, it was about because I wanted my own freedom, it was worth taking the risk that I did. Coming back to your, how does one let go of their tight fists? It's not about letting go of your tight fists. It's about setting your, destination from where you are right now. And destination is not necessarily monetary. It is more in terms of what do you want to achieve, what do you want to prove, and how strongly you feel from inside. I still struggle with some of the projects where I feel very strongly, but it is very frustrating. The journey at times is very frustrating. People don't understand what you're trying to do. People always keep telling you, अस्ति त यस्तो भएको थियो, अस्ति यस्तो भएको थियो, त्यस भएर त आज अर्को तरिकाले अपर्च्युनिटी छ भन्ने कुरा आउँछ. So these are typical challenges you face, but then you go back home and say, okay, probably I have not been able to explain myself properly.
यसमा चाहिँ हैन इन्भाइरोमेन्टको कुरा अगेन मैले जोड्न चाहे लाइक हुन्छ नि इन्भाइरोमेन्टको कुरा कति आउँछ लाइक वेयर यु बिन ब्रट अप हैन तपाईको पेरेन्ट्सको रिस्क टेकिङ एबिलिटिज देखेर लाइक युभ सीन देम टेकिङ रिस्क युभ सीन देम हाउ दे ह्यान्डल मनी एभ्रिथिङ त्यो चाहिँ कति लेभलको असर पर्छ.
It does. Kineki, what you see day in, day out does have a rub off on you. But then at the same time, it is not just parents. No, you meet your friends.
Yeah, friends.
So depends on which school you go to. So some schools have more of, if you are near a army cantonment, you probably have more of army people coming in. And if you are near in a city which is a very business-like city, Kathmandu, you'll meet a lot more business family kids, right? So, your interaction, and then sometimes even when we interact, I mean, at early age, you don't choose, no, you just become friends. And it's a matter of luck that, you became friends with the businessman, the person, or you became friends with somebody from, let's say, the government. So, your thought process also is kind of defined by that, and your inspiration also is defined by people you meet. I was fortunate that I went to schools where there were a lot of business children, and also that I did get to see some businesses very closely because of my friends and their families and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so like being around people who have been used to the same environment. To exposure le pani like
फरक पर्छ नि. I mean, you see some are very adventurous when it comes to their lifestyle and so on. And you'll find they hang around with those adventurous bunch, right? And those who are very adventurous with business, you'll find that those guys hang around with business risk takers. So it is all about what do you see yourself as in how do you want to live? Right, and accordingly you fit in, right? Some people, you wear such nice clothes, you dress up. I'm sure that is inspired by somewhere, right? And you like to dress up. Some people don't care. I mean, they are happy being just comfortable, which is also not bad. But then that inspiration also comes from somewhere, right? There was this friend of mine in school. His father was a government employee, a senior employee, rather the postmaster general of one Indian state. And his uncle was a photographer at one of these international agencies, maybe UN or one of those. And, one day he comes and says that I will do a degree in photography. Back then I said, like, what is a degree in photography? And today he did it and he's doing very well for himself. He's been shooting for Nat Geo and all these things. And he's really liking it. So he probably, we talk about manifestation. That manifestation comes in, it plays in your mind, you make consciously or subconsciously make friends, you hang around with people, you hang around those places, right? I'm sure each one of us have our own, philosophy that this is how I want to be perceived. And you naturally slip into that. Okay? You meet people, you may not know somebody now, but maybe in the next 3 months, if you come across somebody like that, you'll be the first one to start trying to become friends with him or her, right? So,
I'm so glad you talked about manifestation. Do you believe in manifestation or not?
I've started to because, it kind of helps you, prepare yourself. If I was to talk in makeup terms, I would say it helps you set the foundation right.
Or the primer.
Primer, yes. I was not getting that word. Yeah.
I have 2 words for 2026. I set gareko. Because like I said, when you come from a certain khalko family environment, I think about that a lot. Okay? So you sometimes operate from a scarcity mindset. So my 2 words 2026 is audacity.
Okay.
Because I believe the universe rewards you at the level of your audacity. So that's one word. And another word is abundance.
Okay.
So when you feel like there is enough opportunities, enough for everyone, you start attracting it. So 2026 ko हामी beginning ma chhau. Tapeko लागि चाहिँ like what are the words that you want this year to go like? It's the 2 words, one or 2 words.
2 words. I have been thinking very loud in terms of moving from operational founder to an investor founder mode. So, which essentially means that all these years I have thought of the idea, I have executed ideas, I have now. And, the fact that I went for Shark Tank also is part of my manifestation where I said, I want to move to that mode where I want to work with people smarter than me, younger than me, and see that the new ideas as well as possibility of a disruption in the old ongoing. Yo duita kuralai, if I can get involved in and if I can be more of a backseat driver, I would love to do that.
So what's the word?
The word would be investor mode.
Investor, okay. So when
investor
you said
mode,
okay, love it. When you said operational mode, did you mean I watched your podcast, like I said, twice, each podcast twice. So this you said when you start a business, you're like the chief of everything. So I think I talk to a lot of I get exposure. I sit down with business people, and they always say, business start गरेपछि चाहिँ यो आफ्नो since you're the one who's doing everything, त्यो control relinquish गर्न चाहिँ एकदम गाह्रो हुन्छ अरे के, delegate गर्न. So do you mean that or not? Are you still hands-on with all of your businesses?
I think the other way around. I am hands-on. I try to delegate, but there is this founder obsession.
Yeah.
And this entrepreneur breed is flawed in the sense that they think no end of themselves. They think they are the most perfect, most accurate, and they could be.
Yeah.
But then a business has too many moving parts, and if you stick on to all of them, you have only 24 hours. Right? So after a point of time, it becomes a compulsion to delegate, and also a compulsion to be tolerant to imperfection. So यो दुईटा कुराको ब्यालेन्स गर्न सक्नुपर्ने एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट देखिएको छु. Else you end up so frustrated that it is not funny. You start finding faults in everybody. All that happens, I mean, but this is not anybody else's flaw. It is the entrepreneur who is designed with that flaw.
How old were you when you started your first business?
I started my first business when I was in college. So I must have been 22, 23.
All right.
But that was just an attempt. It gave me the flavor of money. I saw that little effort could bring in some money, and probably was good enough to be pocket money. So I thought, hey, huँदो रहेछ त.
So तपाईँ 23 हुँदाखेरि and you started thinking like, okay, I cannot be everywhere.
No, I didn't start thinking that way.
Not then.
Not then.
Okay, when did you feel like, okay, I can't be everywhere, do everything?
I think I started feeling that after 2001, 2002. After I started doing businesses that I'm currently growing into, and that grew faster than I had imagined, and there were so many other options around it that बिहान उठेपछि आफैले सबै रेस दौडिने हो भने त कुनै पनि कम्प्लिट नहुने भएको जस्तो देखिएर. सो like your gym trainer always tells you, the form and the intensity. So the intensity त चाहियो. फर्मलाई अलिकति कम्प्रोमाइज गर्दाखेरि at least you're exercising, right? Otherwise त if you try to do both and try to be perfect at both, you may not end up exercising. So मैले पनि by compulsion सिके हो. I don't think I would have relinquished if I had a choice.
So बिस्तारै चाहिँ कसरी गरिन्छ? Like, is there some kind of, for example, it's always said that like if you need to be there all the time, it's not a business one, I know. So how does one slowly set systems around so that like you don't need to be there?
I mean, there are two ways of looking at it. Some companies who have all the infrastructure and the experience, they like to put the systems first and then do the business. But most of the cases, entrepreneurs do not have that luxury. So what happens is you evolve along with, your systems evolve along with. I always feel that, my contemporaries who came from business families, they've always had and they still have that advantage of systems and cross-checks and balances. Their systems and cross-check balances are much better than mine because mine are still evolving. But then theirs are also evolving, but they are more evolved than I am, right? I mean, it's like when you have 2 or 3 kinds of car companies, the older ones are more evolved than the newer ones, or at least so they feel, right? So हाम्रो केसमा पनि यही feel हुन्छ कि these people who come from business family have that edge over us. But then the edge we have is the ability to think out of the box.
Yeah.
जानेकै छैन जे सोचे पनि भयो नि. And then you have to go पहिला त यो lately we talk about proof of concept, right? But पहिला त there was nothing called proof of concept. I've started asking my people, but I was never asked proof of concept भयो कि भएन. There would be people who were investing in you, they would say, okay, I like the idea, and that's it. That is proof of concept, right? So coming back to what you're saying is कि हामीले आफ्नो यो जुन the whole systems and processes को कुरा गर्दै थियौँ. So systems and processes, अब आज कुनै नयाँ बिजनेस हुँदैछ भने अब फेसबुक आउँदाखेरि फेसबुक पहिला थिएन भने the systems and processes are going to be evolving. I'm sure they're still evolving, right? And if there is a business like what I do, animal feed, they have been companies. So the processes and but what next are you trying to do is which is where the new processes and systems and cross-check balances will come in. So there is nothing very sacrosanct to it. Right? Sometimes not having one is also an advantage.
Okay.
Right? You are so flexible then. If you read this book, David and Goliath, Malcolm Gladwell, he talks about that, right? He says flexibility or the agility is his flex. Right? So this is what we see. I mean, because of this, we have seen that last decade or so many conventional businesses have been challenged. The camera business, the film business, we can name as many as we want. So that is the David and Goliath thing, right? So when you are small, your risk is lower. In terms of in terms of an enterprise, but your flexibility is higher.
I love that you touched upon first generation entrepreneur, second generation, or like after that. So do you feel like what do you think like first generation entrepreneur bhayera hey, did you get more flexibility like keep on trying? There was no like you're a certain already set, and there was no, this is such a thing that I want to talk about, that is a lot of second generation entrepreneurs, their dads, their grandfather, everyone started neither. So they don't have enough flexibility because the standard is always उहाँको ड्याडहरूले के स्टार्ट गर्यो नि त होइन. So what do you have to say about that, like हुन्छ नि the good side and the bad side of being the first gen entrepreneur?
Yeah, so the good side, as I said, I can play double in quits, right? And they cannot. The bad side is they come with a system and cross-check alongside. So their broad SOP, they already have. And first-gen guy has to build it, right? Build it. So there's a lot more loose parts, moving parts around a first-gen entrepreneur as compared to a second-gen or a third-gen. But then, second and third-gen come with a little bit of a fixed bandwidth, whereas, for a first-gen, world is your horizon. So you can do anything and everything that... So there's no precedence to get restricted by.
Have you seen an example where like the second generation entrepreneurs, after that, like what? Let's say they took the business to the next level. Okay?
Oh, a lot of them. Nepal has quite a few of them, and they have taken it to a next level. They have adapted and adjusted to the new changes in the society, behavioral, as well as technology, and they're doing phenomenally well. They also have created something which is as extraordinary as a first-gen guy would be.
We're talking about building things. We're talking about building businesses. And the podcast, it's always about encouraging people to start something neither. I know. But very rarely will people focus on kun bela chai it's like not worth it. It's like this is not worth moving forward. यसलाई चाहिँ अब सेल्फ गरेर कि अगाडि अर्को कुरा स्टार्ट गर्नु पर्यो कि अब बन्दै गर्नु पर्यो भनेर. So when, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs, it's always like great कुरा गर्छन्, great perseverance, persevere गरिराख्ने. But when is a business actually dead and like not worth pursuing?
See, there's no definition to that, but the founder knows it. But his obsession becomes the obstacle at times. It has happened to me also.
Really?
I should have given up few businesses much early, and the result of that was I made larger losses and wasted my time as well, and went through that heartache also. But then that is what is an entrepreneur, right? I mean, if he or she could make all the right decisions by the book, he or she would not be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is about, it's more like we keep talking about mind and heart decisions. Entrepreneur is more driven by the heart than by the mind.
Okay.
And at times he lets his mind overrule his heart. But that's the art, I would say. I mean, if you can manage that, because when you start out, your idea is from your heart. And your idea, probably when you start out, you're the only one who is convinced about it, right?
Yeah.
And then you start convincing people. Until the time you actually see success, you see numbers on your balance sheet, people doubt you. There's nobody, you talked about lonely on top, whether it's this top or this top, it is lonely because you get critics who are good, they will, but then there are critics who kind of demoralize you. And you have to deal with it, right? You have to have that inner strength to deal with it, and your dream has to be stronger than the criticism that you face.
What is the worst thing or worst criticism that you heard, while growing your business or anything? Anything that has stood out?
The worst I have heard was early in the days. I have heard someone say he's good at making presentations. He's good at ideating. I doubt if he'll be able to make it a success.
How got the early, say you tabla sunnu
So this was between 95 and 2000, first 4-5 years of my...
Very young.
Yeah, so, and then, and I kept failing. And they were right. I kept failing. I had few ideas and I kept failing. And some ideas I should have, quit early, like you asked me earlier. I should, some of them I could have, now on hindsight, right? त्यो बेला त होइन म गरी छाड्छु भन्ने त्यो हुन्छ नि होइन. But then I could have quit earlier. I did not. But at the end of it, when this business, the animal nutrition business came around, once again I put my heart and soul into it, and happened. Right? So yeah, it happens. Yeah.
You question sodeko reason say like we have this sunk cost fallacy wala like okay, since I've already invested so much of my time and everything, like makes sense to go further भन्ने हुन्छ नि त धेरै कुरामा a lot of things, so that is why I asked.
But I'll add to something here.
Okay,
right?
sure.
So going forward, so I was good with science in school, right? So I got into engineering. 2 years into engineering, I was in this dilemma and I fell for the same trap where I said if I have to back out, I'll lose 2 years. But then, and that, our kids now have so many choices. It is very, you can mix match subjects and, so many things. Flexibility, so I made the wrong decision of continuing it. And I can say this at this point of time, but the decision when I took, I felt that was the best thing to do. But now when I think about it, I should have either studied economics or maybe just plain simple commerce.
How has the degree, the engineering degree, jati parnu payo, helped you in any way, like while running a business?
Going through engineering college has helped. The degree hasn't. Let's put it this way. So engineering is all about science and analytics, how you break up things and how you rebuild things and how you look at things. You give me something and you look at upside down. So that way it has really helped. And as far as the degree, it doesn't get me anywhere. I mean, it was very funny. I studied in Bangalore and while we were doing engineering, Bangalore newspaper ma ad aundakari, they used to put up ads, the multinational companies, then they used to put up ads saying, Bangalore University engineering graduates need not apply. I'm like, I mean, you are useless. Why
is that?
I don't know. I mean, I think...
boycott university.
I think probably what they meant is they wanted the big names, IITs and stuff like that. But it was very discouraging. And at the same time, it was like, now when I think about it, good that it was there because it played on my mind. मैले त जागिर पाउने वाला छैन.
Okay.
होइन? So what are my options? And then it kind of, again, that पाउने वाला छैन भन्ने कुरालाई I started probably now on hindsight I'm again saying कि probably that's what built up कि म जागिर खान्न. You know, so you build your own story, you start manifesting things, and त्यो manifestation I realized कि पाउने वाला पनि छैन, खाने वाला पनि छैन भनेपछि why bother about it? Let's start thinking of what you want to do. And then the freedom angle also came in, and freedom angle आउन साथ kind of understood, right, कि त आफ्नै केही गर्नु पर्यो. That's where you have your freedom, right? In fact, you become a slave to your work for 24/7, which I realized later. But then,
yeah, I was going to ask you that.
But what happens is, I'm here right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can make a choice, right? But for a job holder, he has the freedom on the weekends and stuff like that. I don't. But that is what I chose. I mean, I wanted to be the owner of my time. I did not sell. I did not want somebody else's authority over my time. Each one to their own. Again, I mean, it is how you want to define your quality of life.
I have noticed the your word freedom ekdamai man parcha. You use it all the time.
Yes.
How, like, what does it not mean to you? Like, ki कुरा चाहिँ तपाईलाई freedom हैन. When do you feel like, okay, this is against my freedom?
Yeah, so
in terms of work or anything?
A lot of places I have felt, and I have felt very claustrophobic about it, and I would leave that. So I was part of one of the associations, and I really wanted to do some good work there, but then the whole bureaucracy and the leadership there were like, little, why is this guy moving too fast and why is he moving too aligati? They were at discomfort, and I felt that I was trying to be bullied there in terms of how I should, so it probably meant that I should be towing their lines. So that is not freedom for me. You, on a particular subject, the destination is important. You have your ways, I have my ways, and the freedom to choose my way is important. And many other examples like that. And I've been through some businesses where similar kind of dominance comes in, and you feel very stuck there. There's somewhere, some places, some gatherings, you realize that they don't want to move and they don't want you to move. That is freedom. I'm not stopping the other person. I don't mean to. If I'm made aware, I'll probably make way. But why stopping me? Right? So to stopping me, restricting me, is something which is kind of putting a periphery around me, and that is not freedom. Right? So when you ask what is not freedom, that is how whatever makes me uncomfortable, claustrophobic, restrictive is not freedom.
Your idea of freedom is being calling the shots, basically.
No.
Not really.
No. So if you look back when I started 1995, to me what was important at that point of time, two. First, freedom, or my freedom of time, so that I can go as per my convenience, as long as, and still be as responsible as anybody else, that if a job needs to be done, it needs to be done. One. Second was monetary freedom. Monetary freedom pani ke थियो भने, after I finished college, after you finish college, you don't want to be asking your dad to give you the money to go out and eat with your friends, right? So that self-respect ko lagi pani you were to earn, and you're earning that financial freedom, and that financial freedom till date remains that way. That my financial freedom to me means that I should be able to indulge in little things without thinking twice.
Okay.
And that little thing could be, if you see a nice restaurant, going and eating there. It is not about how fancy the place is, but sometimes like you like a pair of shoes, And luck kinam na ta. And I don't mean indulgence. I don't mean extravagance around that. I just mean that it's a nice feeling to see something and say, okay, I can also experience it. Your financial freedom means that, right? I mean, I'm not talking about taking a trip to Mars or anything of that sort.
Okay. Freedom, while freedom is important, freedom of making a choice is also important. In the so you've made a lot of choices. Staying in situations like still being involved with businesses, but you've made a couple of choices of not continuing few businesses, and I'm talking about very few people at Tootle. You were also involved Tootle as one of the founding members.
Yeah.
So Tootle is still operation ma ta cha. You're not a part of it at all, right? No. When did you part ways?
I don't remember exact dates, but if I'm not mistaken, we started around 2015.
Okay.
Post earthquake. So over coffee shuru bhako थियो हामी तीन जना साथीहरुको बीचमा. It was getting to a point where, between us, I mean, it has nothing to do with the project so it was getting to a point where I did not feel that it was going in the right direction. And probably my other co-founders they felt that I was not aligned to that. So but there was a disconnect, and that disconnect would leave me tied down at times. So I chose to move out.
All boils down to freedom.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's life, if you look at it, I mean, some realize late and some realize early, but there are 2-3 main principles around which your life moves. Yeah. And you take your decisions based on that. So every time, do you believe in sixth sense?
Sixth sense, yeah. Intuition.
Yeah. So I have realized that 99% of the times, my intuitions come true. And not listening to my intuitions have been my biggest regrets in these many years.
You paid a price for that.
Yeah. And that is not money. It is your time and your frustration and that that feeling that you don't want to go through, right?
Or is it the whole ride-sharing market? Bare tapeko ke opinion cha? And
it's evolved very well.
Yeah.
More than anything else, that it has solved a problem. I've seen my son tell me that I don't need Yoka. I will take Patao, or I'll take a Tootle, or many other options that they have. So it has solved problems for so many people, and especially if you are alone and you need to go somewhere on a nice sunny day, you don't need to spend a lot of money just transporting yourself, right? So it has solved, I don't know the balance sheets of all these companies, but I have some broad numbers and they look encouraging.
Okay.
I want to be there back again.
Talking about going back, when my question say, and it's also a concern Nepali businesses are lagi, when बाहिरबाट यस्तो जायन्ट्सहरू आउँछ नि हैन, Nepali businesses you're a chance stand गर्छ कि गर्दैन?
How I see the businesses in Nepal is you have to have your specialization, right? I mean, there are some businesses which are government regulated. There are some businesses which are consumer driven, and there are some businesses which are very ready for disruption, which is very local. So a lot of the businesses that happen in Nepal are very local in nature. I mean, you could talk about hydropower, you could talk about tobacco, you could talk about fintech. There a global presence is required, a global technology probably has. But then if you can build that technology around here, I mean, if you remember, just in the last 2 years, ChatGPT plus 4, ke kura aayo, then you started subscribing to ChatGPT. And then you came across a very simple breakthrough called DeepSeek. And then Google Gemini came in and stuff like that. So the whole fascination around ChatGPT, I still call it ChatGPT, but I'm probably using Google Gemini or Copilot or any of those stuff, right? Whichever is free. I don't pay for it. And in most of the cases, my work is done. So Nepal ko case ma pani, what I'm trying to say is the David and Goliath story still comes alive. We are a small economy, which means we are a niche economy, and you need to find what works in Nepal. You cannot do a cotton. I hear this rhetoric time and again that we are between two giants, China, India, and we should be doing this. What they are already doing, we don't have, the skill, the scale, all of that. Why do you want to do that? Let's do something that they are not doing, where we can be the David in that whole Goliath story, right? I know. So each one to their own. I do what I think I'm best at, being the David, and somebody else needs to find that David niche for himself. त्यो जरुरी छ. मलाई लाग्छ multinationals are not important.
Not important?
I mean, I don't think they are a threat anyway.
Really?
Yeah. Until unless we're talking about hydropower or something where the capex is very, very high. And that business has a different nature. That is nothing innovative. Hydropower have been there for donkey years and they still continue to exist. The pani bagi nahi raha cha. Hamle po ta harness garna sakya chaina because we probably lack capital and we lack the will also. But what is the ROI on it? Nothing.
As a like hamray Nepal e-commerce I don't think it's been backed kunai bairako bata. And I was using their platform versus the platform that's been backed by bairako bhanau. There's like ekdamai difference in terms of the user experience. So this moment the difference holla like the backing that they get. Yeah. Everything.
No, so but then again, look at it this way. I'm sure you're talking about Amazon and somebody else, right? And
Nepalकै भित्रको.
Okay, so you're talking about the Raj and somebody else then. Okay, so see, this is where it comes in. The first gen, second gen, the third gen. Kami kura gare thyo. These multinationals come in with the SOPs. They already have a basic framework around that. The software and the systems and processes. They've invested over the years so much. And there's this Nepali guy who comes in. Now, if you look at these two products, take this Nepali product and compare it to when Amazon were doing it or Daraz was doing it or whenever Alibaba was doing it, right? You'll realize that this product is far ahead on that relative scale, right? It's just a matter of how long will it take to catch up. So, it is just a matter of time. And a lot of things are very localized for this local company, right? They understand. We are talking about developing maps in Nepal. Google Maps is already there working, right? Apple Maps are there working. But why do you need indigenous maps? Because there are certain areas where only the indigenous maps can work. Right? Actually, I had gone for a trek to Australian camp. Right? So we started from Dampus and walking. And Dampus tira pugdakheri, I checked Google Map and said, take me to Australian camp. And somebody had told me it's a max 2 hour walk. Right? And Google Maps shows me a 5-hour walk. Okay, and I didn't know how to change it.
Yeah.
So these are little areas. I'm sure Google Map change bhayo hola, but so localization is also important. Now, if I was to recommend good food to you, good Nepali food, where would you go? So you need local recommendations for that, right? Somewhere an American, let's say, person will not be able to give you the same recommendation as you and me can give to our guests, right? So that localization is important. That niche is very important. We need to find, and that's the job of an entrepreneur. He needs to find the gaps. Either he has to solve a problem or improve the experience, right? One of the two.
100%. But doesn't the finances also matter? Like kun एउटा multinational company ले चाहिँ पैसा राख्न सक्ने marketing मा सबैमा and एउटा homegrown company राख्न सक्ने के?
Matters. I mean, I'm not saying those challenges are not there. That is why you are an entrepreneur, right? I mean, you have seen those challenges and you still see a gap. You see a possibility. Either something is missing or something can be improved or, and you can do it better than them.
Yeah.
That is the gap, right? I mean, if you look at most of these tech companies who have evolved over the last 10, 15 years, their growth has been triggered by buying out the local companies or smaller companies which bring in one product which is missing in their whole ecosystem and they grow, right? Instagram, right? So that is what we need to create, and that is why there are entrepreneurs and there are businessmen. They're two different breeds, right? You could slip into becoming a businessman, but you cannot, very difficult to move up to becoming an entrepreneur. Right? So it is a mindset.
As I say, a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't, the negative way, they don't use this word, but they use this word delusional. So entrepreneurs need to be Yoda level somewhat delusional to see that there is a possibility of making things happen. Do you agree to that or not?
My simple answer to that would be whatever it takes, however it works for individual.
Yeah.
But my observation has been that there are times where you find a solution and then go looking for the problem. I mean, a lot of founders, so when you talk about delusional, that is delusional to me because you say, okay, I have created this app or this work structure. Now I am going to find out who needs it.
All right.
That's
not how it works.
That's now how it should work. And if there are cases of where it has worked, I would love to know. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are a few which have worked, but not the probabilities are very low.
Your word say it's not used like in any negative way. Okay? It's just, as I say, I think the Gen Z entrepreneurs are, so they're like, I'm delusional enough to make things happen and bend the reality so that like it works for it. Okay?
Even in the positive sense of it, I mean, I also didn't mean to be
negative,
derogatory about it. But the point is, you cannot be away from the reality also.
Okay.
You have to do your benchmarking, you have to do your cross checks. Now that how we started out saying proof of concept. Proof of concept hunu paryo. I have a beautiful app, but I don't know what to do with it. Have you ever downloaded an app and said, oh, I paid for it, I thought it'll work this way, but it didn't? All of us have, right?
Yeah.
I know. So Tio is not solving my problem.
Yeah.
So I will not pay for it again. I know. So that is where my thing is that you cannot be sitting in isolation, sitting in a silo and saying, this is the this is the solution that will provide the world with the nirvana that they are seeking on everything.
Aligati reality sanga pani touch hunu paryo. So business is one part of the story, but what matters also is the people that you work with, right? Absolutely. The people that you lead, the people that you inspire. So this segment is over the meal. So we have food sent by Hangry Jen, who has sponsored this episode. So you over the meal segment, so my people go segment a lot of the connection also happens with people through food neither. So we're going to talk about everything people. Already, but a lot of the people who say that they start a business is because I don't want to do a 9 to 5 on Sunday. I don't want to do a 9 to 5. I want to start my own. I want to be my own boss. But then comes a point when you are a boss and you have to work with 9 to 5 employees neither. So what do the 9 to 5 employees are? It's a key role play गर्छ एउटा बिजनेसलाई बिल्ड गर्न, स्पेशली तपाईको केसमा कसरी रोल प्ले गर्नु भयो थियो सबैले?
So it was when I started out it was me and my dad. Both of us became entrepreneurs at the same time, and we were a two-man army at that point of time. So I think as we grew, as numbers grew, we had more people, and again, there are people, all kinds of people. Some people are happy doing regular 9 to 5. There are some people who crave more challenges and they want to grow up the ladder. And there are some people who are probably, have that entrepreneurial mindset, but don't have that situational luxury or, how do I say it, or that they have not reached that time in life where they take that faith, a leap of faith. They are leadership guys also. So I learned it the hard way, how to assign what to whom. I came from that thought process where everybody's,
equal
banda pani equally competitive. Whereas I learned later that some people are good with something and the others are good with something else. And as a leader, my job is to channelize that energy in the right directions. And then that was the phase when I said what we spoke about, where, an entrepreneur thinks no end of himself. He thinks he's the best. And so त्यो फेजबाट निस्किनु र त्यसपछि डेलिगेसनको compulsion, and then you start making selections. And I still make selections. And that is probably my most time-consuming job. Identifying the right people.
Good people to work with.
All people are good. Identifying what suits this person the best.
Really?
The temperament, the attitude. Some people can play music, right? I cannot. Everybody likes music, right? But some people can play it so well. That's his talent. And some people are such good sportsmen. Some people are such good visualizers, right? And people like you, you such good presenters. Now, if I tell you to do a music concert, I don't know if you play any instrument or not, but that is where I saw one picture at some point of time, an image where it says, if you're going to judge a fish by
ability to climb a tree.
Exactly. So this hit me hard, and then onwards I've been consciously trying not to assume that everybody is good at everything, and try and identify. Everybody is good at something, for sure. Yeah? If you don't put them on the right job, you are failing as a leader.
It's your company, you're the founder. You're going to have तपाईँको enthusiasm त छुट्टै हुन्छ नि, त्यो तपाईँको company भएकोले हैन. तर employeesहरु त उहाँहरुको त they're salaried, हैन, salaryमा काम गरेर हुन्छ everything. So is it okay उहाँहरुको same founder जस्तो mindset नहुनु or not?
Have you heard of this thing called too many cooks spoil the broth? Too many founders cannot. Because as we discussed earlier, these founders, that breed of entrepreneurs, are strong-headed people who believe in some delusional dream and think no end of themselves, right? So imagine now 5 of them in a room. So very difficult. Right? So you need all kinds of people, right? So the team is when you start complementing each other. Right? If the moment you start competing each other, the team is not working. It has to become complementary, and sometimes when there are overlaps, again it is the job of the leader to streamline it. So easier said than done. Identifying this whole thing is itself difficult, and then solving it amidst so many mindsets is another challenge. So that is why, if you look at it, any company which grows beyond a certain number, a lot of emphasis on HR is given out lately. होइन पहिला HR just meant attendance राख्ने time slip बनाउने and salary मार्ने होइन but now it is not about that. It is all about alignments getting and they say that कुनै पनि एउटा concept बुझ्न र बुझाउनमा it needs at least 5 or 6 discussions. If you have a senior membership team which is senior leadership team which is let's say 25 or 30 people and if there is one delusional entrepreneur, how much time can he spend? And he has naturally chief of everything has a lot of things to deal with. So this is an art. This is an art, and I can tell you, we entrepreneurs are not good at it. We need help.
मैले यो कुन कन्टेक्स्टमा सोधेको भने धेरै कम्पनीजमा मैले पनि एम्प्लोइ भएर काम गरिसकेँ. आई डोन्ट वर्क.
Where did you work?
I have worked in a lot of companies. I know. I don't want to mention any one of them. But again, I was तपाईँले जस्तै सोचेको I'm not cut out to work under anybody भन्ने त्यो mindset भएकोहरूले त then you realize okay then you go into self-employed then you go like सबै त्यो quadrant मा होइन त्यो I think Robert Kiyosakiको त्यो quadrant cash flow something quadrant छ where like you move along like okay you work for someone else then you become a freelancer and then you just move towards the entrepreneurial वाला and then investor त्यस्तो खालको एउटा छ. अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ you are held to certain expectations के like you should also have the same vision of the company so त्यो align हुनुपर्छ भन्ने धेरै कम्पनीजमा त्यो माइन्डसेट हुन्छ कि होइन. त्यही भएर मैले सोधेको क्वेसन बिकज अलमोस्ट लाइक नेपाली कम्पनीजहरूको चाहिँ आजकल आम नट टकिङ अबाउट एनी कम्पनी इन लाइक स्पेसिफिक भएर भनेको होइन तर यु सुड बी एबल टु डाई फर दिस कम्पनी खालको माइन्डसेट पनि हुन्छ क्या धेरै नेपाली बिजनेसेसहरूको लाइक मैले 6 बजे तिमीहरूको चेकआउट भए पनि मतलब छैन 9 बजे राति कल गरेको छ भने यु सुड बी एबल टु पिक अप द कल भन्ने एउटा हुन्छ क्या धेरै कम्पनीजको. व्हाट डु यु थिङ्क अबाउट द्याट?
नो व्हाइल सी टाइमिङ्सको कुरामा आई मिन आई हेभ अलवेज ह्याड अ लिटल आई कम फ्रम द्याट फ्रिडम ब्याकग्राउन्ड होइन. सो मेरो चाहिँ फ्रिडम अर्काको क्याप्टिभिटी त हुन सक्दैन होइन. सो आई पर्सनली फिल द्याट timings are important. Timings are important in the sense a certain level of decorum is important, discipline in life, and because you're working with so many people, they need to congregate at the same time, right? Now, if you are at different time zones, then it becomes very difficult. But at the same time, job specific, you know, if somebody is running a machine, his job is to run a machine. So machine has to run at the machine running hours. I know, but somebody is doing a lot of thinking. Somebody is doing planning a campaign, let's say, or a content or any of that stuff. Then I can't make you sit in office from 9 to 5 and then come up with a brilliant idea. You cannot do that. Right? So I would have to, while I would still expect that, okay, actually 9:30 तिर त आइदिनु पर्यो because if there is a huddle or anything of that sort, you need to participate in that. And if you are on a senior position, then you have to lead by the example also. And if everybody starts coming to their choices, then it becomes very difficult. Though some offices do have that, but then their business nature allows them to do that. Right? So if in my case, I'm a manufacturing company, so if a marketing guy needs to connect with the production guy, which is important, then, you know, timing the respect. So that timing that way is important, while not sacrosanct. But depending on job again, what is expected, I think the freedom of productivity. I call it this. I call it productivity because each one of us know that some days I feel very creative and the other days I don't, and some days I just do the routine thing, and some days I come up with new thought processes. So if that happens to me, it happens to you too. And if I am tying you down at 9 to 5, then I am actually limiting my own resources. Because if you would think, if you start thinking that beyond 5 I stop thinking, and if you've not been able to think between 9 to 5, then who's at loss? Right? So that flexibility dinai parcha. Some jobs are time specific and some jobs are output specific. So at Nimbus, at least, we try and accommodate both kinds of, in our own interest, of course. Right?
Where does this come from? There's a big debate here among Gen Zs. Gen Zs are bringing everything, a part of workplace culture. They're prioritizing your word, phrase or word, ekdam popular bhayरहेछ. It's called work-life balance. Work-life balance चाहिन्छ. म 9 मा आउँछु, म 6 मै जान्छु, 5:30 मै जान्छु, त्योभन्दा 1 मिनट पनि बढी काम गर्दिनँ भन्ने माइन्डसेट चाहिँ आजकल जेन जीजहरूको they're adopting because that's what I get paid for. I have a life beyond that भन्ने एउटा माइन्डसेट चाहिँ हुँदो रहेछ कि हैन. सो त्यो माइन्डसेट मैले पनि राखेको छु. I also am a Gen Z, so मैले त्यो माइन्डसेट राखेको थिएँ, especially while working for somebody else भनौँ न हैन. बिकज यो मैले अघि सोधेको रिजन चाहिँ तपाईँको ड्रिम र कम्पनीको ड्रिम सेम हुँदैन नि त होइन. कम्पनी इज मुभिङ टुवर्ड्स एउटा भिजन, तपाईँको चाहिँ मेबी यु हेभ लाइक सेपरेट ड्रिम्स होइन. सो बट देन आई स्टार्टेड वाचिङ यो पडकास्ट अफ लाइक मेगा सक्सेसफुल पिपल एन्ड आई एम इन फ्रन्ट अफ अपोजिट अफ समन हु आई कन्सिडर एकदमै मेगा सक्सेसफुल. सो उहाँहरूले चाहिँ के भन्नुहुन्छ भने तपाईँ 20s मा हुँदाखेरि फर्गेट वर्क लाइफ ब्यालेन्स भन्नुहुन्छ क्या. इन अर्डर टु रिच देयर त्यो कम्फर्टले चाहिँ होइन त्यहाँ त्यो लेभल अफ सक्सेसमा चाहिँ पुर्याउँदैन भनेर बिलिभ राख्नुहुन्छ उहाँहरूले. सो वाट डु यु थिङ्क, वर्क लाइफ ब्यालेन्सले पुगिन्छ त?
No, I think it is work-life balance is all about where do you want to reach, right? And if you're happy being happy-go-lucky, so be it, right? If you think you'll juggle with 3 different things and get where you want to, that is also okay. And if you think that this is a good opening for me and I will climb up the ladder here and then 10 years down the line, I will do something of my own. That is also okay. Right? But each one to their own. Work-life balance is not about how much free time you have and how much time you spend at work and stuff like that. Work-life balance is, to me at least, I mean, feel free to disagree, but to me, it is about how I feel about myself at the end of it. Okay. So if I feel accomplished, I might spend 12 hours on it. And if I don't find it interesting, I would rather not do it. Right? So again, there is no formula of work-life balance. At the end of it, you got to feel good. You got to feel closer to your manifestation. Right? So plenty of examples where people have worked, people have also talked about 16 hours of work and 18 hours of work and stuff like that. And people have also talked, like you said, people talk about 8 hours also. I think if for the one who is doing 16 hours is also motivated, and the person who is doing 8 hours doesn't mean he's doing a shoddy job. He's doing a good job, but he wants to do something else after 8 hours, which is okay. It is matter of own priority. Are you chasing money? Does your need situation is about money, or you're just chasing money? I read articles where people have worked 3 jobs, 2 jobs. Some people probably don't have the option this way. So to be judgmental about what should be the right work-life balance, I don't think there is something of that sort. I personally feel that your definition of work-life balance and my definition of work-life balance could be different, and it could be different on different days also. Right? I'm sure each one of us has gone through this phase where we are willing to put in 16 hours on a particular day, and on a particular day you don't feel like doing anything. Right? So it's nothing to do with Gen Z, I would think. It is, again, individual choice. Like,
I think they are the ones who are questioning it. Like, मैले सोधेको यो कारण चाहिँ हजुरले पर्सनल इन्डिभिजुअल लेभलबाट भन्नुभयो, तर मैले फर्स्टमा ल्याएको क्वेसन चाहिँ a lot of organizations are like 5:30 बजे नै छुट्टी हो रे होइन, 5:30 बजे जान लाग्यो खालको माइन्ड सेट हुन्छ क्या.
हुन्छ. I mean, again, organization to organization, right? And it's very difficult, from an organization level. Like I just explained to you, a manufacturing guy and a marketing guy, right?
Yeah.
If and we also discussed about the fish and the tree, right?
Yeah.
So, kasari like garne, our labor laws are very different. Worker laws are very different, where everybody is defined by 8 hours, right? And there are senior people who work for more than that. And how do we measure the mental time that your job consumes, right? So there's so many other things, and the people who've been creative at it, there are examples of good companies, various international companies. They come up with very flexible schedules because their requirements allow that, and where creativity is more important than physical attendance. So I just give you that example, right? Marketing and production. So अब त्यसलाई कसरी balance गर्ने, each organization and each leader to their own. But I'm not saying that there are organizations which don't care, but there are organizations which don't know how to handle this. Okay? And this whole thing of being effective is everybody's desire, right? Be it my organization, be it somebody else's organization. So the battle is between how to handle it, how to learn to handle it, and the laws. So त्यो कुरालाई balance गर्ने प्रयास भइरहेछ. And when you say Gen Z, I again think it has not been there for last 10 years. It's been there for 20-25 years, when quality of life and work-life balance has been talked about.
Really?
Right? I've had my contemporaries and my colleagues, I've had many discussions on that, and I've had heated arguments on this subject where I have been a proponent of saying one single formula for the entire organization doesn't work.
Yeah.
Either you have to let go and trust people that they will give you the desired output, or maybe segregate teams as per their requirement. Like, let's say office help. You have a errand boy.
Yeah.
You need him what time? Him or her, what time? You need them because when people are in the office, so that, whatever coordination they need to do. When do you need a security guard? When do you need a driver? And when do you need a thinker or ideator? So these are all job descriptions which our laws have not been able to visualize. And I don't know if any country has been able to visualize it that way. But then, we also tend to be governed by laws. There might be one person who say, I don't care as long as, I'm happy if I deliver what I'm expected to, and give me that freedom. And some people say, I don't care, like you said, 9 to 5. I mean, I switch off after that because I go to the gym, I go to play tennis, or I just act in theaters. So each one manifests differently, and त्यसको लागि till it's a small organization, you can accommodate everybody and still have everybody accountable, because after all, teamwork. But the organization, as it grows, alikati भनौँ न customized हुन गाह्रो हुँदो रहेछ. And I think this is where this whole thing kind of feels like a misfit. That's my observation on this.
So तपाईँले आफ्नो बिजनेस 20s मा स्टार्ट गर्नुभएको नि त सो त्यति बेलाको सरले चाहिँ लाइक वर्क लाइफ ब्यालेन्सलाई प्रायोरिटाइज गर्यो कि गरेन बिकज द्याट वाज योर इनिसियल डेकेड भनौँ न
Mainly, I don't think I even thought of work-life balance. I mean, at that point of time. And now when I think, I was putting in whatever effort, running around, facing disappointments, getting rejected, all of that I faced, right? So at that point of time, my manifestation was my driving force. So, every time I felt, every morning I got up, I was chasing a dream. And my dream was, again, the freedom part of it, right? So, if I was to do that, I knew that these are two main things I need to. So, to be able to have freedom of my time, I need to be established as a credible person, right? And second is I need some income as well. So त्यो दुईटाको पछि लागेको हो and after a while it becomes a habit.
तर रिलेन्टलेसली नै त लागेको होला नि त धेरै नै
But I didn't think I was living an imbalanced life.
Okay.
I didn't think I was living, I was not living unhealthy.
Okay.
I was not sleeping any less.
Really?
I was just probably, so if my friends called me every day, I would probably meet them once in 3 days.
Okay.
So those are the kind of compromises. I would probably not go to a party one evening because I had something very exciting for me for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So these were compromises, or if you want to call it sacrifices, if were to be made, I did make those. But then that was a choice I made. Nobody stopped me from doing that either. And when I wanted to do both, I have slogged till 2 in the night to, be ready for the race tomorrow. So that was work. Wasn't that balance? I wanted to party. I wanted to be prepared. And at the same time, I was chasing my own dream. So there was work-life balance. So there's nothing called, again, I mean, I would emphasize on this that there's nothing called
balance.
No, there is nothing called a universal formula for balance. And it is very, very customized. And siblings ko definitions may not match. Duijana founders ko may not match, though they have come together for a cause. So this is such a vast subject. Everyone is a subject.
Yeah, we're talking about people aspect, organization go very important. You have been a leader for a very long time, होइन धेरै वर्ष भयो धेरै मान्छेसँग काम गर्नु भइसक्यो तपाईको लेन्सको अनुसार चाहिँ पिओभीबाट चाहिँ एउटा राम्रो एम्प्लोइ बन्नलाई के गर्नुपर्छ और को हो के राम्रो एम्प्लोइ बनेको?
I think this is a good question and I think I have an answer for this in the sense that a good employee to me is someone who anticipates what needs to be done and takes action on that even before he's been told. Okay, so
Proactive?
Proactive. Proactive is a good word. But a proactive person with willingness to take up leadership. And I have had few people who used to drive me around. And today they are at a decent position in the office. Because I could see that when they were driving me around, they would do more than what was expected for them. And that kind of demonstrated their leadership and proactive capabilities, right? And there are people who've been in the same position for 15 years, 20 years, and they're happy that way.
Okay.
Yeah, they're happy that way. They get their gradual whatever, as per rules, but they seem to be happy that way. So, and I've had conversations where I said, why don't you, take up that responsibility? And, there's a growth pattern to it. And the answers have also been very nice, cute, but not very ambitious.
Okay. Proactiveness plus like a sense of initiative आफैले लिने without having like micromanage गरिराख्नु नपरोस्, supervise नगरिराख्नु परोस्. Okay.
Willing to go that mile extra. That is very important.
Extra mile.
You know? That to me indicates that he has that fire in the belly to grow more, and he's probably enjoying what he's doing, and let's test him out. You know, and see, we entrepreneurs will always need people. No? We cannot work with ourselves. We are dangerous people. You know, we can overwhelm people. We can cause a lot of anxiety.
With what? Energy,
drive, whatever. You know, so you always want to like I've stopped saying this now, but earlier I used to very casually tell a lot of my colleagues at work, run with me, don't make me walk with you. One thing, it's really funny.
Okay.
I know. Come on, let's run with me. You guys are you are making me, you know. Don't slow. I mean, don't walk. Let's run. Let's run, kind of thing. You know. But some people are good with walking, and they're happy with walking.
Yeah.
So.
उहाँले ग्राउन्ड पनि त राख्नुहुन्छ, ग्राउन्डेड पनि राख्नुहुन्छ नि, हैन र?
Yeah, but then again, as I said, no, there are so many variables, right? There's this moving universe. There are so many variables. What fits, and we've created another universe called enterprise, right?
Yeah.
And that enterprise has its own requirements, and that requirements come from different people. So, you know, everybody has a role. It's like theater. You know, you need actors to act their, you know, characters. So we are nothing but characters in a organization.
I love that. I have loved talking about people. I think they are the ones holding an organization together and following, and not just following, going alongside the founder to make the vision come true. I know. The business part we've covered. People part पनि cover गर्यो, and I think a lot of people would be interested mostly in the next segment that's called the money. Money part. I think the money segment is सबैलाई curious नै पार्छ, सबैलाई intrigue गर्छ. Think of me as someone who is starting a business. I know. I don't have any legacy. I know legacy, like nothing, no family business, nothing. No political access पनि छैन मसँग. For example, collateral राख्नलाई पनि केही छैन अरे के. सो अब म बिजनेस स्टार्ट गर्छु भनेर मैले सोचेँ अरे, स्टार्ट पनि गरेँ अरे जति छ होइन, त्यसले गरेँ अरे मैले. सो आई निड टु अब टेक अ लोन के होइन. सो म जस्तो मान्छे अब ब्याङ्कमा लोन लिन जाँदाखेरि ब्याङ्कले मलाई के भन्छ?
So, yes, sir. I mean, this is very relatable to my own story, right? So, I started out with a company where my dad's cousins were investors and I was a working partner. Right? So, त्यो बेला उहाँहरूले सबै आफ्नो मिलाउनु भयो, and eventually I opted to go alone. अब opted to go alone गर्दाखेरि same question, where do I get the money from? Early parents, family. त्यसपछि where do you get the money from? So I remember twice or thrice. So first time when I came to this crossroad, I spoke to a friend of mine who came from a business family. And I said, "Timi partner bandeu na masana." And then it'll be easier for you to get a loan because you have that credibility. I don't.
तपाईँले भन्नुभएको? Okay.
I mean, I may not have said it in these many words, but that is what. So he agreed and he became a business partner, and I got my first loan of 15 lakh rupees back, I think 98, 97. Then came a crossroad again where, let's say, this animal health business. Right? So with this animal health business, I realized that by then I had failed so many times that I had nothing more to invest and stuff like that. So I realized that if I have to keep trying, I have to have somebody backing me. Right? So who do I back it? So Tubelata, it was not about angel investors. They were not, no, we weren't talking about Shark Tank in Nepal. We were not talking about venture capital funds, होइन. So त्यो बेला I told my dad about, this is an idea and maybe it has a potential. So he spoke to his friend, or rather his ex-boss.
Okay.
Right? And we both went and pitched the idea to him, and he kind of liked it, and he said, okay, let's start small, but let's start. So that is how, and once he came in, the bank loans became easier.
All right.
Yeah. So I see that these days, a lot of these entrepreneurs or startup entrepreneurs, founder entrepreneurs, they have a fixation around equity percentage. Whereas, so it was that when this gentleman agreed, I was like, wow, I mean, this is my starting point, right?
Yeah.
I have nothing going and I'm still being choosy.
Yeah.
Get going is more important. Then he came, next day he calls up my dad and he says, see, we work with this gentleman also. So are you okay if we take him as partners also? Beggars cannot be choosers. I said, okay. I didn't have a choice. And because my thing was, I need to get this started. So anything that happens will take me few steps. So I agreed. So what was supposed to be 100%, first conversation became 50%. Next conversation, I became 33%.
Okay.
But then 33 is 33 times more than nothing, right?
Mark Cuban says 100% of 30% of a watermelon is much better than 100% of a grape. He said something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I said that in Shark Tank too. Okay, so I didn't use this phrasing, but I meant that.
Yeah.
So, that is how it started. So, today's ecosystem has so many options, but it needs. So when we say angel, the different kind of, then you have VC, which has a different kind of pattern, right? Then there are these funds also available. So there is a plenty of, so you have to establish your credibility. You have to establish your proof of concept. And त्यो बेलाको लागि very smartly coined term is bootstrapping, right? I mean, you bootstrap to a point that you can establish the proof of concept. There are plenty of people. You saw so many on Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
Very basic ideas, just about started, but people have invested. And there is a potential, right?
So bank ले लोन दिन अगाडि यही प्रुफ अफ कन्सेप्ट नै गेज गर्छ?
ब्याङ्कले प्रुफ अफ कन्सेप्टमा लोन दिँदैन. Bank will need a project report and certain level of some kind of collateral in terms of, it could be working capital loan, it could be your stocks, it could be your money that you have lent to your sellers. So debtors, somebody. So banks would be willing to fund on that, but then that needs a little bit of more patience. Earlier on, you can tie up with individuals, you could tie up with VCs, you could tie up with angel investors, but you have to be convincing enough. And how would that happen? You saw Shark Tank, right? Sorry. You say, okay, I value it at this, but most of the deals end up in tranches. So I say, okay, I feel good about it. I feel good about the person. I feel confident about the project. Now I'll put in 20% of the money upfront. And let's see how you do with that. So I always, the moment you reach 20% milestone, top it up. Okay, it might be a painful process, but then not moving, not, being stagnant is more painful for an entrepreneur than, equity. So मैले के देखिरहेको छु भने त्यो equity fixation is also being a binding lack of freedom, as I would like to call it, right? And साथै साथ you have to, it's like chief of everything भनेपछि पैसा जोगाड गर्ने पनि आफैले गर्नु पर्यो. You have to strategize how you're going to do it, हैन, till the time you reach bank levels, right? So त्यसको लागि, if you have to not, I won't say borrow, but if you have to align credibility, align with the credible businessmen, whoever you have access to, and then start growing. Which is, in all fairness, a good thing to do.
But to level of access to the businessmen, the sabaiको नहोला नि त हैन
आजकल there are so many events that are happening. There are accelerators that happen. There are matchmaking events that happen. And friends of friends, yeah. I mean, there are apps which connect you to everybody in the world with 6 degrees of separation. Right? So if you are, if I was to approach you, and if I knew you are on, if I find you on Insta, Facebook or LinkedIn, and these days if you're not in either of them, you don't exist, right?
Yeah.
So the moment I look at it, there is a good chance that I will find somebody who knows you. होइन त्यति एफर्ट त गर्नु पऱ्यो नि कि आई कल अप द्याट समबडी एन्ड प्लिज क्यान यु इन्ट्रोड्युस मी टु रिया भन्न सक्नु पऱ्यो नि होइन सो द्याट इज अल्सो बिङ रिसोर्सफुल एन्ड वी वर टकिङ अबाउट दिज सर्च इन्जिन्स एन्ड अल द्याट सब च्याट जिपिटी स्टफ त्यसमा पनि लेख्यो हुन्छ नि हु डज रिया ह्याङ अराउन्ड विथ अर आई निड टु अप्रोच रिया हु वुड बी द राइट कनेक्सन होइन फ्रम माई कन्ट्याक्ट लिस्ट लेट्स से. So there are various ways of doing that. I mean, the world has become so much easier. Okay, गर्ने वाला चाहियो.
So तपाईँको चोइस भएको भए तपाईँले लाइक बुटस्ट्र्याप नै गरेर गर्नुहुन्थ्यो कि लाइक फन्डिङ अलि अगाडि उठाउनुहुन्थ्यो तपाईँले?
मैले त फन्डिङ उठाएँ नि मैले त
एकदम अर्ली नै उठाउनु भएको हो यो.
So early नै उठाएँ. I mean, I knew that this project that I'm thinking about needed investment. Needed land and building, so we went to this gentleman and I convinced him, and if he had not been convinced, I would have gone to somebody else also. I would have gone to 5, 10, 15, 20 people and you know, but then you know that who I can approach easily, who I can convince, who you know you know how to convince who, and so you with your personal experiences you put that skill into use.
Okay, love that. I have a very fun and final segment,
Okay.
is the rapid fire segment, which has been powered by Hangry Jen. So it's mostly this or that, and some questions that you need to be very crisp, short, and rapid, full of fire, basically.
Let's try.
All right. First question. तपाईँको relationship with money एउटा wordमा describe गर्नुहोस्.
My relationship with money, not so important.
Not so important, okay. First करोड कमाउन luck बढी चाहिन्छ कि skill?
Combination. And how do you define luck?
Luck is like right person at the right time, right opportunity at the right time.
Preparation meeting opportunity.
Risk big or play safe?
Start small. Scale fast.
Skill को लागि hire गर्ने कि attitude को लागि?
Both are different. Skill को लागि hire गर्नेलाई skill, I mean, you know, that is very specific. But for leader positions, attitude.
यो पनि तपाईँले context अनुसार नै भन्नुहुन्छ. Bootstrap or funding, taking funding?
Proof of concept, some bootstrap.
Revenue versus margin कुन बढी म्याटर गर्छ?
होइन मेरो लागि revenues matter more. I've always been a revenue driver.
Smartest financial decision तपाईँले लिनुभएको as a first gen entrepreneur?
As a first gen entrepreneur, my smartest decision was that agreeing to that 33%.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have never started.
First gen foundersहरूको धेरै advantage हुन्छ कि disadvantage?
I think for looking at myself, advantage होला.
नेपाली इम्प्लोइजहरूले कल्चरलाई बढी भ्याल्यु गर्छन् कि स्यालेरीलाई बढी?
Salary.
कि तपाईँले कुनै फेलिङ बिजनेसमा इन्भेस्ट गर्नुहुन्थ्यो if you believed in the founder in terms of numbers भनौँ न?
होइन, not only the founder is very important, but possibility of the business पनि.
The scope. Okay.
So as I said, I'm a revenue chaser. So for me, what helps is scalability of the business.
Okay.
So if it cannot go beyond a certain scale, I kind of, at this point, पहिला I used to take up everything and anything, but today I would not want to take it up.
Okay.
Investor mode ma jana khojeko.
Love that. Okay, so we've reached to the end of the podcast one. I had a blast. I have so many more questions that I'm going to pick your brain some other day because we have to end the podcast. Any final words to anybody who's watching? Mostly business enthusiasts are there, Sunny, and founders, entrepreneurs.
So I think, if you are considering entrepreneurship for yourself, one, go all in. There is nothing called semi-entrepreneurship. It's all in or nothing. And second, don't try to create a business to find a job for yourself.
Okay. What does that mean, final?
So a lot of, I've seen a lot of businesses where the founder starts a business because he wants to draw a salary and become comfortable in that business. Okay, so that is that's what I call creating a business to find a job for yourself. It defeats the whole purpose. Right? As we discussed, entrepreneurship is not about that, right?
I love this podcast so much. So thank you so much for coming.
Most welcome.
I'm so excited.
It as much.
Yeah, I enjoyed it so much. I wish it could go on, but I think this is all that we have. Such amazing insights. So yes, thank you.
Thank you. Lovely meeting you.